Inspiration is one of the driving forces in us pursuing what it is that we want to do. History books have closely observed hundreds of years of musical evolution, and there seems to be specific moments that are the beginning of something new. Composers like Bach, Mozart, Beethoven, Mahler, Holst, etc. constantly push us to get better, and to continue to study and write. Though, I think it's fair to say that until Bach's time, we had never seen such sophisticated, complex, and truly extraordinary music. In the 1500s, composers like Thomas Tallis continued to evolve the ideas of polyphony, and further expanded on the theory of music in general, ultimately centering around the church modes. Bach took those ideas, innovating in one field in specific, which is still being used heavily to this day. Counterpoint. Bach came from a very large family of musicians. He was born on March 21st in 1685 in Eisenach, Germany. He was a normal schoolboy who had a very religious upbringing. Religion was something that would follow him throughout his whole life and inspire many of the works that he did. When he was no longer able to sing in his soprano range, he switched to playing the violin and the harpsichord, soon after landing his first full-time job as the fill-in organist at the court of Duke Johann Ernst, which was in Weimar. It is then when Bach began to truly grow his career as a performer. Bach continued to work hard, and in 1707, Bach was preparing to travel to Mulhausen for a possible new job. But there ended up being a bit of an issue, when Bach's obviously complex stylistic approach to music got clashed with the pastors, who preferred that music be simple. Around a year later, Bach finally landed the position of the full-time organist at the court of Duke Johann Ernst back in Weimar. Interestingly enough, after a long time of working for the Duke of Ernst, Bach was in prison for a short time due to the Duke's refusal to allow Bach to travel to accept a position with Prince Leopold. Finally though, Bach was released, and he was now permitted to go to his new post. It is here where many of Bach's most famous compositions were composed, and in 1721, the extraordinary Brandenburg concertos dedicated to the Duke of Brandenburg were composed. And in 1723, he became the teacher of and the musical director of all 4 main churches in Leipzig. It is here in Leipzig where a very prolific part of his career began. One of his main achievements here being the composition of the Passions, which were musical translations of the Bible. But unlike Beethoven, who had obvious signs of hearing degeneration, Bach suffered from some very serious sight issues approaching the 1740s. But this did not stop him at all. During this time, Bach even performed for the King of Prussia. Soon Bach began to compose the Art of the Fugue, but did not complete it due to his deteriorating eyesight. Bach underwent surgery, but came out of it completely blind. On the 28th of July, 1750 in Leipzig, Germany, while struggling for his last breath, Bach uttered a few simple yet powerful last words. He said to his family, "Don't cry for me, for I go where music was born." Johann Sebastian Bach was a composer, organist, innovator, as well as the inspiration to an indescribable amount of people to follow him, and he created compositions that will likely live on for as long as does humanity.